So let's talk about how artificial intelligence can write and solve problems for you. You know, everybody's been talking about ChatGPT later. We'll talk about it quickly, but it's been out since last fall. I was aware of it last November. Probably it's one of the most well-known of them out there so far. And the reason why is because it provides one of the best and most simplest responses to your complex questions. It can write messages, but it can also create entire playwrights and essays. But sometimes you just need a tool that does that, right? That writes for you as quickly as possible.
So in this example, I'm going to show you that you can create a script out of it for an entire video. So I'm writing in the prompt, write a script for a 10-minute video about introduction to sexual harassment in California. And you see how quickly it's creating this script. And not only did it write me a script for this 10-minute video about the topic I wanted it to write about, it gave me a shot list. So between the narrations, it told me what kind of images I needed to take in the real world so I can match it up with the script.
Script writing is really hard. It can take weeks to do, and then somebody criticizes it because you're missing a T, and that's okay. But now you can just describe what you want. Write your video requirements, and ChatGPT will create a script and narration and shot lists for you. ChatGPT isn't just for scripts or messages. Here are some prompts that you can give it, and it will customize its message for you. So a common one is, to write an essay in the tone of Shakespeare. And it will write your essay as if he was living today, or Steve Jobs, or Michelle Obama. You can ask it to consult. You can ask it to criticize my email as if you were my mom, right? And so maybe it'll be nicer. Explain it to me. Explain this topic, workers' compensation, as if I was a 10th grader. I use 10th and 8th grader a lot when I develop training as the level, because that's usually the level at which people understand it better. When we think about multiple languages, multiple disabilities, multiple perceptions. So I often need to understand things like an 8th grader to this day. So these are prompts. You'll hear a lot about prompts, prompt engineering, but it's a way to tell something like ChatGPT something so you can get out of it what you were looking for.
Scripts are certainly one thing that you can create, but not only that, you can actually take those scripts, whether you generated it or if ChatGPT generated it, and it can translate it for you. So check out this example where I've taken the script that it gave me, and now I'm telling it, translate this script. I didn't even copy and paste it again. I just said, translate the script into Vietnamese. And do you see how it not only is translating it, but it's also adding those marks above and symbols above the letters? Well, I told it, well, hold on a second. Why don't you translate it into Mandarin? And it not only remembered the script beforehand, but it started to rewrite it with the special characters that you find in Chinese writing.
Translations. I've heard from many campuses, Berkeley, for example, that they compare the translation of ChatGPT against a real-life translator, and it's pretty spot on. But I would still take it, like I take our translations, and I have somebody who actually speaks Russian. She lives in Israel, and somebody who speaks Tagalog, and I still run it through them. It's pretty accurate, though, so you can paste words, and ChatGPT will translate it for you. Not only can you translate, but you can also use ChatGPT to generate assessments or tests.
So here's an example of ChatGPT taking a script, and I'm telling it, create a 5-question multiple choice test based on the script, and do it in English because I just told it to translate it into Mandarin, but I want it to give me a test in English. So you see how quickly it creates the question and answers and gives you a key. Well, now I told it, put it in a table with like the answers in a separate column from the question.
It gave me the answers in a separate column in the question. So you can tell ChatGPT, create a multiple choice test based on the script. Choose a test type. It can be any test type. It'll create your questions and answers. As a trainer, that takes a long time to figure out because you're trying to figure out what's the most important information and then what are the right answers. I don't even know. So it's really helpful in that way. It's not only for messages or generating information. What many people don't know is something like ChatGPT can get and analyze data for you. So did you know that ChatGPT can read databases? It can be your own analyst.
So this is just data analysis. So I'm saying, act as a data analysis and tell me a story about this data that I just literally copied and pasted from Excel. No formatting. Well, it figured out the formatting on its own and then it told me a story. This data set appears to contain evaluations of various online safety courses, specifically laboratory safety refresher. It told me the most common topics people were saying they learned from it. And I asked it to calculate what percentage of the overall reactions were good or very good. And just a second there, it actually calculated that about 87% were good or very good reactions. So it not only told me a story as an analyst, it told me a story about data I just randomly pasted into it with no formatting. It calculated information from it.
So it calculated information for me. It thought it didn't even need me to put it in an Excel format. I just pasted random information. So paste data from a table, ChatGPT will summarize it for you. But you don't even have to have the data. Sometimes you have no idea what you're looking for, but you know it's out there in the world in some websites.
So in this example, I'm going to show you how it mines data for you. I had asked it to give me information about University of California campuses and their injury rates. So it gave me a table. And I said, well, take that data and add to it lost work days per year for every campus. It scoured the internet, and in a matter of seconds, it came back with data for every campus that they have from their websites. Then I said, well, that's great, but I also want you to add a column to this data with a number of employees by campus. So actually, before I do that, I actually told it, I really want you to sort this data by the highest amount of lost work days. And see how quickly it told me, sure, here's the same table sorted by the highest amount of lost work days. And it right away organized the data for me. And then I asked it another question to add to that table. And the question I'm asking is, add a column. Can you add a column for the number of employees by campus? It looked throughout all the internet in a split second, and it's now giving me that data and now adding a column for total number of full-time employees by campus.
So you can spend time looking up data and putting it in a table and sorting it, or you can ask an AI like ChatGPT to find it for you. So yeah, locate and summarize information into a table.